Yo, Joe gamers, it's Kwing here. Welcome to another Game Nights video review. Now it should come as no surprise to any of you that I grew up watching the Sunbrow series when I was a little kid. This game is based after the movie of the same name, although it has many more G.I. Joes than in the actual movie. The story for the game is as follows. The Joes have captured the Baroness, but all of a sudden a bunch of Vipers are teleported into the Joes' base, the pit. They rescue the Baroness and then kidnap Heavy Duty. It's up to Duke and Scarlet to save the day. Now, the Rise of Cobra is your typical 3D arcade shooting game, very similar to a third-person shooter like a PS2 Contra game, or the old G.I. Joe arcade game from Konami in 1992. Players can either go it solo, or save the day with a buddy. At the start of the game, gamers can play as either Duke or Scarlet.
Yo, Joe!
Now the concept for the Rise of Cobra is as follows: to run and gun through the levels, rescuing your fellow captured G.I. Joes, and utterly destroying Cobra's troopers, tanks, robots, and of course their bases. Now, like all games in this genre, you have to fight stage bosses at the end of the chapter. In this game you'll fight Destro and
Cobra's commander!
Not be! You have not defeated me, and never will! Cobra!
The gameplay for this game is pretty straightforward. You can either use the Wiimote and Nunchuck, or you can play with the classic controller, as I'm sure most of you will. The focus for this game is shooting the bad guys and taking cover behind obstacles, while your health does regenerate. You're not Superman after all, so it's best to hide or be dead. Each character has one super move, and you can carry 3 of these at a time. When you're in a very difficult battle, sometimes your super moves aren't enough, and you need to pull out the Ultra Combo move. This is the Accelerator Suit, those lame things in the movie. They not only make you invincible, but they make you faster and stronger as well. But it only lasts for 60 seconds. So use them cautiously and only when you need to. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting them on just Vipers. Playing co-op doesn't take away from the experience of this game at all. In fact, it adds to it. I haven't noticed any frame drops or any glitches whatsoever with this game when playing with the second person. And this game is your traditional arcade gameplay, and it's great. However, this game is not without its hiccups. For one, it has no online play at all. Even for the 360 and PS3 owners, no online play, no Xbox Live, no downloadable content. Now, the Wiimote has no special use for aiming, unlike other Wii games that are released that are movie ports. So yes, this is virtually a toned-down port of the PS3 and 360 game. The graphics for the Wii are D-grade at best. Most of the Joes in this game are very badly out of character. Take Beachhead, for instance. They make him a whiner who complains about all the running you have to do in the game.
No, I can use a break from all this running.
When in reality, the character gets up and runs 10 miles every morning. The developers fail in that aspect. The auto-aiming is cool and all, but it's horribly broken. Your character will automatically lock on to anything when fighting, and I mean anything. If there's a score block on the battlefield when you're in a heated firefight, guess what you're going to automatically aim on first? If you said the power-up, then you win the booby prize. For some reason, when you're in battle, your hardened G.I. Joe will always go for the power-up instead of, say, shooting a bunch of enemies nearby. Go figure. Now, this isn't a problem for early on in the game, but when you increase the difficulty or you're fighting those giant robots, it becomes a pretty big pain in the butt. While we're on the giant robots thing, I personally hate them, especially in the later levels. I just don't like these things. They're impossible to kill, and there's no surefire strategy for beating them. It's all luck, and just shooting them until they die. Just avoid their missiles. I hate their missiles. Lastly, the vehicles in this game are so lame. You can only use them for a limited time, and if you're playing it on a difficult level, then it's going to blow up anyway, so you're not even going to notice any of these problems that I found. It's funny that you can destroy everything in your path with these tanks and all these different vehicles, but you can't knock over a little obstacle for your tank to go over. So instead, you have to get out of the tank and run over it with your Joes. It's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Luckily, this game has a lot going for it. Like, for one, it is amazingly addicting and fun. This game, while offering simple gameplay, does provide a lot of G.I. Joe nostalgia goodness. First, fans are going to notice a lot of fan service from the old cartoon show, like the enemy screaming, "Cobra!" at the top of their lungs before they're ready to attack. Now, I was laughing out of my chair when I first saw this happen, and it happens throughout the game, and it was just like the cartoon show. So for that aspect, I liked it. The voice acting in this game was very solid because only a few movie actors actually reprised their role. You had people like Steve Bloom and all these other voice actors classically trained doing the voices of the characters in this game, and it was actually very well done. I had no issues with the voice actors. The other fan service that you're going to notice about this game is the missions themselves are based after the cartoon show. So you have an instance where the G.I. Joes have to destroy the Weather Dominator, fighting off waves of BATs, and destroying the mass device, which is Cobra's teleportation device. The coolest feature in this game, though, is finding the hidden dog tags to unlock more G.I. Joe characters, instead of just rescuing them. That's awesome. Just being able to play as your favorite G.I. Joes that weren't in the new movie was wicked sick enough. I loved playing as Shipwreck, Gung-Ho, and of course Beachhead. Shipwreck had Polly on his shoulder, and it was his super move, which didn't make much sense, but it was still pretty cool to begin with. Gung-Ho used a grenade launcher, which was out of character, but it was still awesome. Beachhead, however, is my favorite for this game, though, because his super move is just plain awesome. He drops homing mines that can wipe out just about any enemy in this game, which is awesome. Beachhead just rocks. The two-player feature in this game was outright fantastic, and a throwback to the great two-player games of old. This game was very addicting too. The game also has increased difficulty, so you actually need to play it on a higher level in order to unlock everybody. This mode is perfect for any hardcore gamer because you're going to get spanked time and time again, but that's how you learn to master the Rise of Cobra. Now this game is jammed-packed with 80s Saturday morning goodness. Even the music is a throwback to the old cartoon show, which I love. That being said, this game is just downright fun, and most games today are missing that fun factor. This game has 3 difficulty settings, unlockable characters, co-op play, great music, solid voice acting that doesn't suck, tons of nostalgia factor, and it's insanely addicting and a fun time to be had by all. So Game Nights gives G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, the video game, a 6.7 out of 10. This game is a perfect weekend rental, and for you bargain bin gamers out there, this is a perfect game to add to your collection once the price is lowered. Also, I do not agree with my colleagues in the industry saying that this game is terrible. This game is decent, and it's not as bad as one would think.
Yeah, I know.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe!
Well, that does it for me, folks. Thank you so much for watching another Honest Game Nights video review. Make sure you keep checking back for more of Swag's interviews, my video reviews, and a lot coming soon. And of course, please listen to our radio podcast every week. Until then, this is Kwing saying God bless and happy gaming. Until we meet again, gamers. Thanks so much for watching.